So I attended Pompeywood Film Festival on Sunday at the Wedgewood Rooms in Portsmouth. The event was a film festival organised by Trash Arts. I stayed and watched some of the short films and interviewed Geoff Harmer, who directed a film called Dead Air, and Ben Ivory, who directed a film called The Estate. Hope you enjoy.
Dead Air. It's a film we shot back in, 5 years ago. We actually shot it, but only came out in 2019. It's kind of a proof of concept horror short about a band called Monster Kitten, who are on the way to their final gig of a comeback tour, and they're on like a dodgy plane with some dodgy pilots who have got some things stowed away in the hold, little creatures like gremlins. And one of them gets bitten and all hell breaks loose, basically. And the whole point behind it was that we've got a script for a feature-length version of the short, and we just really want to get funding for that at some point, so we can make a feature film about the same topic. So.
Okay, so the idea for the band come first? If it was a completely fictional band, or the people?
No, they're completely fictional, but. Originally, we were speaking to a lady called Erica Knuckles, who plays with the Wonder Stuff and the Proclaimers, as well as being a performer in her own right. And she was going to play the lead singer, but one, she's like nearly 7 foot tall, so I was always worried about how we were going to film her on a plane. But she became incredibly busy, so we kind of took some of her tracks, and then we sort of went back and looked at our cast. Because it was usually going to be like 50% male, 50% female on the band side. So we decided to make it all female because it seemed to work. And we ended up using the music from a band called PantyChrist, who are a Canadian punk band, who we just came across them. I think it was, I can't remember if it was Peter Hearn, the writer, or David Schaal, the guy who plays one of the pilots. So I just contacted them out of the blue and said, look, our punk band are basically you. We would love your music to be used in the film, and they were amazing, very gracious, let us use a couple of their tracks. In fact, the opening track in the opening film, the opening credits, was never released. It was actually just given to us. So I feel really honoured by the fact they've been so humble and amazing about it. So yeah.
So what was the biggest challenge filming the film?
I think one is always getting everyone together at the same time. That's always a big challenge. I think the main challenge really was shooting in a plane with puppets, because there was a lot of rigging we had to do. I'd never shot on a plane before, neither had Tom, I don't think, who was the cinematographer. And because we had puppets, I'd never shot with puppets before, so that was another experience as well. And like all the puppeteers had to have like little monitors strapped to their chest so they could see what the camera could see, so they didn't have to their arms weren't shot and stuff. Plus we're in a really intense environment with all these strip lights on all the time, heating the place up. And we couldn't open a window because we were in a plane. So that was probably the biggest challenge. And also feeding all these people on set and keeping everyone happy. But yeah, I'd say that shooting in that plane for like 5 days solid was really, really tough.
So you won a few awards today.
I know, amazing.
About them?
So we got Best Horror Film. Sorry, get my fingerprints all over these, which is always good to win because the competition was hard. So amazing that one. We also got Best Cinematography for Tom. Tom, this is yours. I'll give it to Tom when I see him. But my favourite one of all is obviously the Audience Award. As I said in my little speech, these are the best ones to get, really, because this is everyone in the room voting for me and voting for the film, sorry, not me. So that means more than anything, because it means it's a real reflection of the film.
So last question, is there anything else you'd like to plug that you're working on?
Yes. In the foyer, there are some posters. We're doing this. This is our next thing. It's called Fright Seers. So Fright Seers it's going to be a web series about various different characters that, trying to think of the way of describing it, it's a bit like a Miss Marple meets Ghostbusters. If you can imagine that sort of approach. So we've got a really good cast. We've got about 40 episodes written. I mean, that's crazy, right? And we're going to start that very soon. I've just finished doing something for Video Shop Tales of Terror 2, Lust and Revenge, and I'm just finishing out something else off another horror anthology called Virus Detected. But when those are done, we are full steam ahead at Fright Seers, which is this web series. So I'm a lecturer, so during the day, I'm going to take some of my students. We're going to start making some of these like smaller episodes called Future Proof, Fright Seers Future Proof. And then once we've got those lit, then we can start like a big campaign to try and raise all the cash we need to turn to make the episodes a reality, because it's going to be a massive deal. We've got we're almost there, but we need to raise the funds to build a giant death puppet. So like the Grim Reaper, basically, because the Grim Reaper's in our show. Got a fantastic name attached to doing the voice of it as well, which I can't reveal yet in case it all goes tits up. But it's I don't know, household name potentially. Well, it depends on your household, really, doesn't it? Yeah, so Fright Seers is the next big thing for us.
Fantastic. All right, brilliant. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Ben, director of the estate, and I won Best Director Award at the Pompeywood Film Festival 2023.
We'll just talk a bit more about making the film.
It's filmed it in between lockdowns. It's a short little paranormal horror, basically done for a shoestring budget. Two cast members, 4 crew, including myself. Filmed over 2 days, I think. We basically went into a house that was in between being sold, and we're like, can we just nip in here to film for a few days? And like, yep, go for it. So that's basically how the film came about.
So how many other films have you made?
I want to say directed 6 or 7 and been involved in 10 films. So I do writing, directing, a bit of producing as well sometimes.
So is this your favourite film you've been a part of?
It's probably I don't want to say my best, but it's the one I enjoy like kind of watching the most, if that makes sense.
So what got you into filmmaking and that kind of thing?
I'm like going back to the start of it. I don't know, I probably walked in and watching my dad watching Alien and I was like, this is good. And it's just come from there. I started university filmmaking in 2019, which is a bad year to do it in, but and that's kind of, it was a really, really good kind of experience, but making films is hard, and that kind of, you know, and jumping into the industry as well, especially out of COVID. I hate to bring up COVID again, but you know, it's affecting everyone, so. But I'm just trying to make it, essentially. So.
Oh, fantastic. So you got any more projects that are coming up?
I've just finished my first feature film, working for a company called Frought Productions. They made, if you know about it, the Winnie the Pooh horror film.
Oh yeah.
It's sort of everywhere. So, but aside from that, I've just come off a shoot, so I'm kind of just chilling for a bit. But I'm going to try and do some of my own stuff. That makes sense.
Okay. So you mentioned Alien. So do you have like a dream project you'd like to work on?
I've got my own feature in the like kind of works, sci-fi horror, you know, like cosmic, bit of H.P. Lovecraft, that kind of thing. So.
Brilliant.
I'm going to keep that under wraps.
Fantastic. Oh no, fair enough. So last question, is there anything else you'd like to plug at all?
Yeah, just follow me on TikTok or Instagram, benjiver_, or ivoryfilms.co.uk. That's my website. You can find all my stuff there. All my films are there as well, so enjoy, hopefully.